Furman, former chair of the White House Council of Economic Advisors, online. Joining us now to discuss CNBC's Steve Leisman, Jason Furman, former chair of the White House Council of Economic Advisors, and Austin Goolsbee, also a former chair of the Council of Economic Advisors during the Obama administration. Steve, how do you read this?
Definitely slowing the momentum of the economy. You were bringing back more than 1 million, sometimes 2 and 3 and 4 million in a single month. Now it's down below 1 million at 661,000. It comes as fiscal stimulus is waning, as you have some new closures in the economy, some openings, of course, as well. But I think the other thing that's happening, Stephanie, is that you have some businesses kind of giving up the ghost, realizing they can't make it and closing their doors for good. And that's ominous, not just for what happened in September, but what may happen in October.
Jason, let's look at the jobs number and look broader. What we're seeing in the markets in the wake of the president's positive COVID test. Are we going to see states, businesses start to slow down? Remember, so many people were saying, let's get back to business, let's get back to work. When the president tests positive, all those people who may be rushing to go back to the office, could that change?
That could certainly change, Stephanie. The problem is that going forward, the economic recovery is a lot harder than what we've done so far. The people that came back to work this past month were called back from temporary layoff. The number of people who have now permanently lost their jobs has actually risen. It's a lot harder for those people to find the jobs unless the economy reopens. The economy can't reopen, as Austin has said over and over and over again, unless we get the virus more under control. An additional fiscal stimulus would definitely help. I'm really hoping the two sides come together on that. But no amount of fiscal stimulus can overcome the reality of this virus, a reality we see manifested now at the highest level in our country.
We do have a bit of breaking news. We just learned that Ronna Romney McDaniel has tested positive for the coronavirus after a member of her family tested positive. She has been home with her family in Michigan since last Saturday. Austin, what do you make of this jobs report and sort of a snapshot of the economic picture right now?
The one part of the jobs report that I like is that there was broad-based job creation across a lot of industries, not just concentrated in leisure and hospitality as we had seen in previous months. But I kind of feel like I once lived in a house where a possum died in the wall, and at the beginning you didn't know anything about it. Then you started getting this smell, and the smell got worse and worse over time. And this is a little smelly. And it's like, whoa, wait a second. We were at 2.5 million a month, then down to 1.5 million a month. Now we're barely over 500,000 a month. We lost 21 million jobs in the first month. So if we keep going at that rate, it's going to be a long, long time before we get back.
Hopefully you moved out of that house. We can't move out of the U.S. economy. We got to solve for it. Not blaming you that it was there. Jason, does this jobs number put more pressure on lawmakers to pass a relief bill? We've been hearing over and over. We've actually heard from Larry Kudlow not long ago that we probably don't need more fiscal stimulus given how well the recovery is going.
Yeah, I think this definitely puts pressure. I mean, what happened economically, Stephanie, is the CARES Act was so huge that it gave a lot of families enough money to get through August. They could spend down some of the money they had in their checking accounts. Too many didn't, but enough did. But now people have gotten through those cushions. They can't smooth their consumption anymore. And so you're really beginning to see the consequence of it going away. You'll see the consequence, I think, in an even bigger way in the month of October, but you won't get those data until November. So I think this will help push people to the table. I think next month we could get an even scarier number. That would do more, but, that's getting very, very late to act.
Gentlemen, thank you all for joining us this morning, and a salute to the possum. Just quickly, Austin, what had happened? Did you eventually just cut the wall open?
Yeah, they ended up, you could get into that from under the porch, and we didn't know what the smell was. Finally, somebody came in and said, you got a dead possum in there.
Well, always good to get that dead possum out. Gentlemen, sorry we didn't get into more. That possum really threw me. Always good to see you, though. Next, what President Trump's diagnosis and news that he has mild coronavirus symptoms means for our national security.